My school fees was paid up to 50%. I had...
Was this because of how well you were doing in that?
Yeah, I got movie vouchers, cappuccino vouchers, Dross vouchers. Like, I was doing really, really well. I mean, I think if you go to Witbank News, get the archives, I don't think... I've broken quite a few records. I've been there. I mean, I'm sitting at home with over 200 medals. Like, is that the just code of power? I wouldn't know. No, my man right now
doesn't possess
a big wallet.
Oh, he has a big wallet.
He's got a very, very big wallet. If I look back to even the things that I wrote down in primary school, what I wanted to be, I've always said I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I've never had a second option, second choice or anything like that. It's always been one thing and one thing only. So I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I like food, like a lot. I'm that person that will literally feel like a good curry, and I won't mind taking a flight to Durban, having a great curry and returning as if, nothing happened.
So we're doing the first half, right?
Yeah,
Lifestyle. I want to get to know who you are. Besides the whole law firm title that has to come with you. I want to know who Unonkululego is. Somebody with an X and not with an A. The coolest kid in the block. And welcome to another episode of RINGE, the podcast. Obviously today we're featuring one of the flyest law attorney. Do I say founders or
yeah, director. Founder and director of Ursula Ntuli Attorney.
Yes, that's definitely the topic of today. I'm very excited because I'm gonna be learning very difficult words too.
It's a tutorial.
I think I need to say that openly to the fact that I'm going to be learning a whole lot of words. So that's going to add, obviously, be an addition to my vocabulary. Brapeño is here. There we go. How are you
amazing?
We're live and popping, buddy.
Yes, we definitely are. How are you feeling today?
Sitting in the presence of greatness.
Exactly. Which is true. I mean, by all means necessary. I mean, you couldn't have said that any better because we are sitting in the presence of greatness. And the greatness obviously stems from the fact that you are an LLB graduate from the University of Pretoria. Mm-hmm. And you have been admitted as an attorney of sorts in the High Court of South Africa. You shouldn't. I wasn't supposed to say.
No, that's fine. I am an admitted attorney. The High Court of South Africa. Yeah.
But without any further ado, guys, we are joined by the lovely, the gorgeous Nonkululeko Ursula Ntuli. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm more comfortable now.
Are you more? That's good.
You scared me in the first.
Oh gosh.
Because I didn't know. I like speaking my mind, right? Mm. And I say this because of I'm sure you've seen our podcast as well. Mm. I don't like using the term controversial of sort, but I like joking around every now and again.
You like to be free.
I like to be free, right? But you're not granting me that freedom purely because of the title that you possess. I'm afraid now we're going to be getting an email of sort to say that, hey, guys, nah.
Young interdict. Nah. If you hear that, it's going down.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm fantastic. I'm super inspired, obviously, by the journey that you've embarked on with building such a beautiful firm that we are obviously sitting in one of the offices at right now. And purely because of your journey as a whole. Before we even speak of Ursula Ntuli Attorneys, before we speak of the journey, the timeline in which you've had to walk in to obviously be here today, I really just want to get to know who you are first. Yes, we had a conversation off air as well, and then you told me that you moved to Witbank when you were 3.
Yeah, I moved to Witbank when I was 3. I was born in Nelspruit, Kamhlushwa, small little village there.
Yes.
And then my dad got a job in Witbank as a teacher, and then he came through, and we moved together, and we've been here ever since.
And sure, it feels like deja vu.
Does it?
But then what school did you then go to? I mean, here in Witbank. Yes, you are 3. Obviously, you've grown within that sort of timeline and went to different schools as well. I've come again, based off the off-air conversation that we had, you were school hopping as well?
Yeah, I primary hopped quite a lot. So I started off at Nenzishiba Primary School, hopped to Tlua Primary School, then hopped over to Robert Carruthers when I was doing grade 3. And then I've stayed there until I finished primary. And then obviously proceeded to Hoërskool Patriot. I matriculated there. And then I went on to University of Pretoria. That's where I got my LLB, honors degree in law.
And that's in 2017.
That is in 2017.
Repeat, please. I need to hear
I think I wonder if the parents made a club, almost a club hop.
Well, it's actually club hop. That's the question. But
I want to find out if maybe because of you were doing so well in those primaries that always wanted the next best thing for you.
Yes.
Or was it just the parenting?
I think it was a trial and error with me. I'm my parents' first child, so I'm the first child, so I'm a trial and error. Like they learning, making mistakes with me.
I'm the only child, or do you have siblings?
I've got a brother who's a year younger than me, and then I've got a little brother who's still in high school.
She's setting that example.
Is it a good one?
Definitely.
I mean,
based on what?
Hey, what you trying to say?
Based on club hobby?
Well, based on the fact that she was actually an athlete, right? And she's obviously embodied this whole of competitive competitive edginess, based on her entire sort of scholar. I believe that's the term, right?
Yeah.
Student is the high school, so scholar. Am I right? I
think so.
In her sort of scholar career, with being in high school, primary, she was an athlete.
Nothing to do with the shares.
With the shares of what?
Shaza. Nothing to do with the Shaza. Athletics enabled us to have the Shaza.
But let's speak about your schooling background for a bit. Yes, you have a competitive edge of sorts, in a sense that it awarded you athletic sort of awards in high school.
Yeah, so I started doing athletics in primary school. I literally did everything. I did 100-meter sprints. I was number 1 there. 100-meter hurdles, 200-meter hurdles, 400-meter sprints, 400-meter hurdles, long jump. Anything that was sport related, I did. Excelled. Played for Mpumalanga. Was number 1. Honors. If you go to RCS, when you look at the junior Victus Ladorum, the whole time I was there, it's Nkululeko. And then the time when it was for the senior Victus Ladorum, it's me again until I left the school. You go to high school, but it's the same thing. So I extremely excelled in sports. I mean, I'm one of those people that where high schools literally like approached me. Yeah, I'm one of those approached. My parents were quite lucky. I mean, I always had a discount. Every year my school fees was paid up to 50%.
Was this because of how well you were doing in that?
Yeah, I got movie vouchers, cappuccino vouchers, Dross vouchers. Like, I was doing really, really well. I mean, I think if you go to Witbank News, get the archives, I don't think I've broken quite a few records. I've been there. I mean, I'm sitting at home with over 200 medals. Like, in sports, I killed it.
So you winning awards has been your thing?
No, I've been a winner. Like, guys, you know. And then after, I think I excelled, played hockey for 1 year. The first year I played, I was a reserve, struggling. The following year, I was in Mpumalanga, I was on top of my game. I was killing it.
Hey, man. Sure. Prapi, please.
Interesting.
I'm sweating because of all these accolades the lady has been achieving throughout her entire lifespan. pen, my brother.
Which is amazing. I mean, I think, do you think it's got to do with the time that you were in high school where sports was still taken very seriously? Or do you think sports is still taken as seriously as it was back then?
Yeah.
Do they still get vouchers from Dross? Do you think they even use them for eating?
I wonder because now my son is he's not very sporty. He didn't take after.
Son?
Yeah, I've got a 12-year-old who is.
A whole 12-year-old?
I have a whole human being. Yeah, but the human being doesn't do any form of sports. The human being is not like me.
The human being wants to.
The human
Put
being
criminals in jail.
No, the human being is very lazy. So the human being so I'm not in touch. So I don't know whether, but I remember in my time it was so serious. If athletics season used to start in January, I would start practicing 3, 4 months, 5 months prior to that.
December?
Yeah, so that's why I was so good. My parents really were the most supportive parents. My parents would drive to Secunda for me to have lessons to run, lessons to hockey. My dad would drive to Nelspruits for me to practice hockey. On Saturdays, my parents were traveling all over the province with me, practicing how to play and getting skill. They like literally invested so much. It was like, it was a whole thing.
Do you feel like a part of you also comes from the fact that you just, obviously purely by seeing the sacrifices that your parents then do with regards to you to get to the practice, to you to get to a Secunda and stuff, did that also kind of contribute towards you being so great within the athletics field in the school?
Definitely. I mean, if you've got parents that are willing to drive on a Saturday to Nelspruit to and from and then drive back the following weekend just for you to play 1 hour of hockey, I mean, it goes a long way. Support is everything. So, and they always wanted me to be my best. I mean, my parents, obviously, it was great for them to watch me win and to watch me get the records, set the records, But I think their support, I mean, my dad was a teacher, but even if it was during the week, best believe my dad is going to be there to watch. My mom is going to be there to watch. Yeah.
Wow. And obviously, you've been taking so many W's. Within your schooling career, would you say that academically you were just as strong as you were on the field?
No,
so
definitely.
There comes a no right now.
No, so what's interesting, I remember in primary, one of my teachers said, you can run, but you can't do maths. The other one said, look, you're great.
You can run, but you can't do maths.
Yeah, because I was like failing that thing. And then one teacher once said to me, like, look,
that's funny.
You're definitely not smart. If there's one thing for sure that you're not, is smart. Like, you're a great runner, but academics is just, it's not your thing. Give yourself 0 for that.
So how's the human being now? You're human. How is he? Because I mean, he has to fall
somewhere.
Yeah.
He's on the fence, my nigga. I'm too much. Do I go with the athletics? Do I go with the math? Which one?
No, my human being is very creative. If you give my son a paper, like, he will swirl it and make something move, or a moving man out of it. He's purely a creative human being. He's very artsy, very creative. He's one of those kids, I think in grade 1 they had to take away all his stationery because he'd be sitting there creating a little sketch in his head, and it's like, ish, but this one, let's just give him the pencil to write on. He's very, very creative. So
have you taken the route of maybe him doing things within the arts right now, like building off that?
I'm freestyling this parenting thing. So I go with whatever flow he has, if he's into sketching, we're buying books, we're buying pens, we're sketching. And then now we're sketching, and now suddenly we like YouTube. So now it's like, okay, invest in a phone, a ring light.
Is dirty though, hey.
But I've seen his content.
Oh, he does content too?
I know the content is not that great. I saw that there, like, oh gosh. And I had to force my friends to subscribe because
Or did you force them to subscribe?
Yeah, my friends are forced. He came back to me, he's like, oh my gosh.
They subscribe to the channel, to our channel.
I'm sure they do. Everyone is forced. Whatever I'm doing, you're forced to.
Guys, please do obviously subscribe.
You have to.
Comment and do everything that you need to do. Click on that subscribe button. Click on that notification bell. And be notified the next time we drop. I had to do that. I'm sorry.
Very important.
The timing was right.
It was perfect.
But please continue, King.
I should?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I can have this all day. I can have this
No
all
pun
day.
intended.
So do you think the creativity of the baby daddy?
The baby daddy. I don't think the baby daddy he was smart. He's very intelligent. In university, he was doing quite well. That's why I met him. He's an intellect. I don't think creative. Intellect. I don't know where he gets the creativity from because both me and him are not creative. But intellect, that's one thing.
Was that the thing that you were attracted to maybe at the time?
I think I'm attracted to power of some sort.
For real?
Yeah, I think at that season when we were in university, he was doing well academically. He was doing student politics. He was doing well. So, anything that has to be umpati sort of calls my name.
So you gravitate more towards red, white, and black?
What do you mean?
What power does your man possess now?
My man. Yo.
I mean, she's attracted to power, she said.
Yeah, red, white, and black. That's the dress code of power.
Absolutely.
Is it the dress code of power? I wouldn't know. No, my man right now
does he possess?
a big wallet.
Oh, he has a big wallet.
He's got a very, very big wallet.
In the country, traveling.
No,
the world, or is that just you?
So I sponsor my own lifestyle.
Of course, man.
Like,
I mean, you're an attorney director.
Yeah, I always tell him. I think we've
of
had
the best legal firm in the city. Let's
so. No, the reason I'm not necessarily attracted to him because of the money, but of how well he's doing within his space. He's doing quite well in his space. He's making moves. He's not a lazy person. He's not a person who'll be like, the weather's cold, let's do Netflix and chill. Nah, magbanda also it's uvugile. Get to the office at 6, get there and start grinding so that when people come in, you've already taken care of the order of the day. He's that type of person. So I gravitate towards people who are aggressive in terms of their wins, people who are not complacent. So the money part of it makes up, it's a cherry on top. But I always even tell him like, when you know how men are, I'll be like, no, I can't buy you this. I'm like, my boy, I swap houses, so there's nothing you can give me that I can't give myself.
She swipes houses.
In plural.
I see the slippers that she's wearing, or the flops, or what do you call them?
Those things.
Those are designer.
The thongs.
Those are designer, huh?
The thongs.
The thongs.
Yeah, the thongs.
You call them thongs?
Oh, the slipper thongs,
That's someone's name and surname.
Somewhere in Zimbabwe, probably.
In the world.
Somewhere in the world, definitely.
But beautiful, I like that. Please, talk to us.
Well, there's a lot. Are you gonna give us a name? Are we gonna give us a name of
my boyfriend?
I don't know. Do we call him a boyfriend? Do we call him a boyfriend or do we call him my man?
No, uyimfihlo, guys. Umfana akabe yimfihlo. Umfana akabe isiphiri.
The law firm as well, you'll be very transparent with the public.
No, umfana akabe isiphiri, umfana akabe isikriti. Umfana must just stay there as a secret, I think the things you love must just stay private.
Are we throwing rice in the air anytime soon?
My man, I haven't even seen it. It's okay.
There's a video somewhere. There's a young hand, down clips of a.
But mysteries are nice, though.
No, also I think that's a part of my life that I don't necessarily want to share.
And you're a very mysterious person. People know you obviously based on the success that you have acquired. And the big things that you're doing, right? That's a part of you that a lot of people don't know. Well, I didn't know until now. I mean, I thought you were gonna say, guys, me, I'm singing, ready to mingle, can't you know?
No,
there's a whole man that's
there's a whole young
power sort of orchestrated.
A young secret.
Umfano is piri. There's Umfano is piri,
No, I like
so
that.
he's staying a secret. The same way my son is like,
but
not a secret, but he's not.
Answer my question about the rice in the air.
The rice in the air. So the rice in the air has technicalities. With the current situation with that Supreme Court of Appeal judgment where, you know, getting married out of community of property was now not really out. So we just repose these because obviously I don't want to mix my assets with anybody else. No, I don't want to get married purely for legalities. So everything that I've done, worked for, and acquired is purely for the human being that I gave birth to. And I don't want that to be distorted, shaped, moved, or tampered with in any other way. And I take that thing so seriously to a point where I think I've had a relationship where we wanted to get married, but then he wouldn't move past the issue of the antenuptial contracts, and I was like, hey, if you're not signing an antenuptial contract, then Mina, I'm bouncing.
What is that? I mean,
it's basically a contract.
To a
6-year-old. What is that?
You know what I'm saying?
So before you get married,
ANC.
it's an ANC. We call it an antenuptial contract. So before you get married, you would sign this contract, which says there's two types of ANCs. One that says, look, from the dates that we get married, the assets that you acquired prior to that are yours, and the assets that we acquired after belong to both of us.
Is that the one called accrual?
That is the antenuptial with accrual.
Okay.
And then there's the second antenuptial, which is the ANC without the accrual.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, so then the last one is it's out of community of property, excluding everything. So what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. So I am a what's mine is mine type of a girl. What's yours is yours. I don't want to mix. I don't want to conject. I don't want to do anything. Mine is mine. That's it. Yeah. And if Vele Uzanama married in community, it's a red flag, it's a no from Rico.
Which is obviously going to bring us to the second half of the conversation. That's obviously after the ad break. Do make sure you stay tuned until that. But what we're going to speak about now is the journey in which sort of introduced you to the world of being in the law sort of industry. How was that? Where does it stem from? When did you wake up and be like, I want to be a lawyer of sorts? I don't know if it's business, commercial, or I don't know if even the terms that I'm using are right. But you waking up in the morning and be like, look, I want to stand in front of a judge and I want to represent someone or something. When did that come?
I think that's something that's always been inside of me. I think if I look back to even the things that I wrote down in primary school, what I wanted to be, I've always said I wanted to be a lawyer. I've never had a second option, second choice or anything like that. It's always been one thing and one thing only. So I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And I think a huge part of it is during my early childhood, we used to stay F5 is Nambeni. And I think I saw a lot of like injustice, equality, and a whole lot of things, and a whole lot of lack and miscommunication and lack of knowledge and a whole lot of things. And I told myself, no man, I actually want to temper into that space. So I think that sort of gave me a conscious background of what it means to deal with a human being, what it means to respect a human being that has something and does not have something, and to be able to treat them sort of not equally, because we're not all equal, but to be able to treat everyone with dignity. So it's always been a huge part of it. I was like, no, I'm going to open a law firm. When I open my law firm, I'm going to help the people that are struggling, the people that are not getting by, and then I'm going to have a side that is purely just to make money, to support the dream and the vision.
And I've come to understand that your law firm obviously was birthed prior to you even graduating and acquiring your degree.
Definitely.
So you were very invested in this thing, eh?
So the law firm did not come as a surprise to me. So I can tell you, for example, I named, or I think just to go back, 2010, I got pregnant when I was in varsity, and then I had to drop out of university. So the plans, I dropped out and went back. So there was a time where I was not in university.
Do that, guys.
No, don't.
That's the formula.
Don't do it.
That's the formula.
That's the formula.
So the birth of my law firm actually happened, I think, during my darkest hour, because at that point in time, I had dropped out of university. I had a baby.
So your law firm was birthed during your birthing period?
Probably. I mean, when I was at home during 2011, the 2-3 years I dropped out, I had a lot of time to think and how to rebuild, because my parents wanted me to go back to university, but they wanted me to start a new degree and whatnot. And I was very adamant that, look, I'm not going to change degrees. Angali, I made a mistake, but I'm not going to suffer for the rest of my life because of a mistake that I made, you know. The human being is here, it is what it is, and I'm not going to change the course of my life because once upon a time I did this and it was not palatable to the community, or it was not savory at that point in time. So during, I think, that point in time, I had a lot of time
There's
to
a lot
think.
of things that go on.
A lot, my boy, like Gunengi.
I'm thinking right now, based on what she said, she was like, the man she was obviously attracted to at the time had a certain level of power. And so me, my head just went to,
SRC. That one, the guy,
he was not an SRC. So he was a student leader, but not necessarily an SRC.
Power
so
again.
it has to, it calls my name, it follows me, it looks for me. It's one of it's one of those
When it
things.
calls your name, what does it call you? When it calls your name, what does it say?
Power.
like what,
Ursula.
what does it come as? Like, what does it disguise in? Like,
No pun intended.
what is it?
I feel like it looks for me, like I can sense power. I can sense a
Above the
man.
belt, please.
No, like, you know, a man with money is soft spoken. Happy, he's very he's down to earth. And then when he's dressed almost to look like a hobo, then you know, this one is like Bona. That's where the money is.
How is Kanye dressed like?
That's
Like
the
a
man. That then you know, it's high. This one is comfortable. When they're comfortable, they don't care anymore. They're just there. We're doing well, and obviously in the conversation as well, you can tell. Good to know. This person is well read, well versed, because also being with a person is a downer.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, because of you, so educated. Obviously, you've acquired a certain level of knowledge within your entire lifespan that will allows you to sort of evaluate if this person is in your caliber or not in terms of intellect.
Yeah, the intellect one is important. I think, when you're playing with someone, you don't really care. But when you want to settle down or date or be in a relationship with a person, you want somebody who not necessarily is an intellect in terms of schooling but is an intellect in terms of life. They appreciate life and knowledge and learning, and they're open-minded. Those are qualities that I find like intrinsic. If they're not there, it's not gonna work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And obviously those are one of the things that I think everybody needs to put into serious consideration. You need to gel with the person fully from all levels, right? But I've seen that you in Joburg a lot, and is it safe to say you are a foodie of sorts, because there's this one specific place that you like to go to in Joburg, and offers you a 7-course meal. With 3 different starters.
Definitely.
See what I did?
Different starters. No, definitely a lover.
Yeah. What's that sort of journey? What's that part of you that people don't know?
So I like food like a lot. I'm that person that will literally feel like a good curry, and I won't mind taking a flight to Durban, having a great curry, and returning as if nothing happened. I'm that girl. Yeah, it's
I wish I had replays or playbacks.
No, but guys, if it's good food, travel.
Big emphasis on the flying, having the curry, and then flying back.
So when you feel like sushi?
It
goes to China.
No, actually, my rule with sushi is how far are we from the sea? So sushi in Witbank, I've got a place where I go to in Witbank, strictly that place, Happy Hong, no one else, because they have the best sushi. But for sushi, I don't actually do a lot of Joburg for sushi as well. Tang has amazing sushi.
Tang is amazing.
Yeah, I'm a sushi lover. And Koi has.
Have you been to Taj?
No.
Like I'm still on this flying and coming back. What about when you feel like champagne?
I'm probably gonna guess for level where I'll like wanna fly to France, have Shaza.
My man, she's left the country without any stamp on the passport. Let's start there. Hey yo, Sanbanan, Papi. Thank you so much for obviously tuning into the second half of RINGE podcast. We are still chilling with one of the flyest female attorneys to come out of Witbank. And I say this openly.
Exis Piri.
It's not a secret at all. We're definitely chilling with Unonkululeko, well known as Ursula Ntuli, the founder and the director of Ursula Ntuli Attorney. Brapi, how was the first half, eh?
I think I'm trying to find the best word that sounds more legal.
You must watch the words that you use. Getting an email tomorrow
I will
morning.
see English. I will see English.
Obviously, what you then saw on the ad breaks there was Hoiga VR, the best tech company in Witbank that supplies surveillance footage in association with Hick Vision as well. They have solar panels, they have mobile phones, they have invectors, they have batteries, they have everything a business or a homeowner could potentially need, especially in the times that we're in. Kulama load shedding, nan. So make sure you guys call Hoiga VR. Are you still nice?
I'm so good.
What's up?
Subscription.
Oh, yes, hey! Thank you.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
You wanna take it over? You
I
can.
know, next
You
thing.
don't?
I
You
fuck
don't?
it up.
Alright, she doesn't want to, but I definitely do. Please do subscribe on RINGE, the YouTube channel. We are there and we are serving everything that's content related. Content that you definitely want to hear. Do click that subscription button and turn on that notification bell so you are definitely informed every single time we drop. Brapi, are you nice though?
No, for sure. Road to 1,000 subscriptions for sure.
Yes, we are getting there slowly but surely.
Definitely going to get
Very,
there.
very nicely, slowly but surely. But I want us to chat about you now. Well, the second part of you, the 2.0 version of you, which is the law firm.
Yes.
When did this beauty start?
This beauty was born in the year 2021. Yes.
Okay.
So we've been practicing for almost 3 years now.
And you've done so well.
Yeah.
I mean, disclaimer, right? Where's that one? Disclaimer, guys. Within the first year of operating, I believe you were awarded, and it's sitting right here, with
Yes.
the best legal firm, do I say, in the city.
Yeah, boo.
Yo, big business.
You
In the
know?
first year of operating, how was that whole feeling like?
That feeling was great. That feeling was great. I mean, a lot of hard work, marketing went into it. So it was great to reap the rewards of your hard labor.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
always...
having to start this law firm before you even graduate as well has been, well, not starting it, but having the idea.
Yeah.
Well, building it towards what it is today had to be one hell of a journey. And you spoke that this has been just been a part of you throughout your entire life. You've always wanted to own or be a founder or be a director of a law firm of your own as well. With the growth of obviously the firm as where it stands right now, what would you say is the greatest strength? And why do you think people should take a look at obviously coming to consult?
Coming to consult. I think our greatest strength is the fact that it's a youthful law firm.
Oh, is it?
So we're very enthusiastic. It's run by youth. The employees are youth or female. Everyone is very energetic, enthusiastic, and ready to take over the world. And you know, there's a saying, new brooms sweep better, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I mean, the old ones leave a certain level of dust.
Exactly. So the broom, a new broom sweeps properly, touches, scrapes everything. Energetic, very innovative, ready to cross any boundary.
Yes.
You know, there is nothing that just separates us. We're all over the place. Yeah.
Very true. Rapi, please talk to us.
Yeah, which is great, man. I mean, new brooms and stuff, sweeping the whole town, I guess. I just want to find out. Sorry, I had to clear my mimosas, chamchicos. On the come up, there's gonna be moments in your life where you like, are we allowed to use those words? Where you like, fuck it.
Oh, let me give up.
18 years. It's cool. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, like when you have those moments, like dream or not dream, I can run, I can sprint. I can win 100 Rand Dross vouchers and get movies. So what, and obviously on the come up, what has been your biggest challenge that you look at like, had it not been for, I don't know who, I was not going to make it through that.
I think, are you I'm misunderstanding the question? You're asking the biggest support or the biggest challenge
on the come up?
Yeah, so like
I
as
think
you were growing,
there's been a lot of challenges. I think running a law firm is honestly very hectic because there's an element of trust. Before a person gives you instructions, they need to trust you. I've had moments where I consult with a person, it's great, and after we finish, they're like, boss yako.
and you're like,
I'm like, this is awkward. Because they want to, there's an expectation that for my trial to run successfully, I need to find a black man or a white man. So now if it's a female and you're looking like not a mature female, then it's like, can I trust you? Even because we do a lot of conveyancing, one of the issues or challenges we faced was, but you guys are black, female, young. Ganjani, like how? How do you?
I'm gonna sound dumb for a while. What is conveyancing again?
So conveyancing is transferring of properties. We transfer properties. If you buy a house, you come to us. You sell a house, you come to us. If it's an estate and the property needs to be transferred to the different heirs, you come back to us.
Do I choose, or does the bank choose for me, or can I tell the bank that I don't want to use that one? I want to use Ursula Ntuli Attorneys.
Okay, so we do a lot of transfer attorneys. We're not yet on the bank's panel to do bonds. So when you're doing a transfer, usually what happens is that the seller gets to decide which law firm to use. But as the purchaser, you're the one paying the transfer cost. So you stand with a bit of a higher bargaining pill to say, look, I'm going to pay less transfer cost at law firm ABC, so I would rather than use them. Or I have a reputation, this is already my attorney, I know what they do and I know how quickly they do it. So you're able to convince the seller to use your attorney, because remember, everyone wants the deal to proceed and they want it to proceed as quickly as possible without any delays. So when you're going to the bank and maybe let's say you want to cancel your bond, you honestly have every right, because remember the bond that gave you is, let's say, bond A, bank A. You go to bank A and you say, look, which attorneys are on your panel? I want them. Then they will use them. Or you say, look, I want to do my bond with bond B that is on your panel, so I want them to be the ones that actually do that. You have that liberty to ask, because remember, a lot of times decisions are taken for us because we don't take initiative, or we're not interested, or we're very lay and relaxed, so people take decisions for us. But if you want to take the decision, you're more than welcome to take the lead, so especially with this your money.
That's what you're then saying now. You say that attorneys are in the set of making these decisions for the people. or who within that whole sort of party has the major influence in being the decision maker for that potential client?
Okay, I would say when dealing with a transfer, the agents will play a very big role in terms of who must they give instructions to. I've got clients who are usually purchasers because I've got a clientele who likes to buy properties. So they always say, look, we don't care who your attorney is. We are going to Ursula because we know what we're going to get there. We know what the price is going to look like. We know the time and the speed, and we already have a relationship. And since it's my money, we go there. We've had instances where my clients will be like, look, if you don't want to use my attorney, then the deal is off. You have to use my attorney. Yeah, I've got loyal clientele, but also I think the service that we give them,
top class.
We go beyond the extra mile. I think when you look at clients that are sitting on my clientele, we take care of their instructions. We also then have a one-on-one consultation to find out about their family structure. We then move forward to structure their estates, their wills. We then do a calculation of how much it's actually going to cost them to die. So our clients are well packaged and well taken care of. It's a one-stop show. I know everything that happens in your life. I even know, no, this is the time. You need to have a trust. Let me structure your trust. This is how your trust needs to be. This is how it needs to be structured. So we're one of those people that go the extra mile. You don't have to tell us, that we're the ones that tell you need a will now, you need a trust now, because we're invested in the clients. And I think that's what keeps the relationship so pure, because we genuinely do care.
Absolutely. Do you have a question, King?
Yeah, for sure. Also on the issue of, you mentioned about can I see your boss? Because they're expecting a man. Do you think that it's still relevant for you to call yourself the first black female-owned law firm? Does that speak volume to you, or?
So I'm not the first black,
In Witbank.
In Witbank, yeah, probably. I don't think I don't put it as something that I put in my bio. So if you hear of my bio, it's Ursula Ntuli, founder and director of Ursula Ntuli Attorneys, board member of Emalahleni FM, host of Legal Ventilator, property enthusiast. It goes like that. There's no way where I say first of all.
At some point.
Did
they tell you?
No.
She wasn't the board member then.
I was
used to work for Emalahleni at some point. But I don't want to dive into that right now.
But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't put it first. I let my work speak for me. I mean, there's a lot of people who place doubt on you. Sometimes the doubt is purely because I know you from childhood, so I'm not going to trust you. But I mean, in any event, harvest comes from God. So
absolutely.
You can't take the harvest away.
Obviously, understanding from the first half, I'm sure you've watched it. Understanding from the first half, you spoke about the birth of you wanting to partake in the legal industry, that it stems from Extension 5 is Nambini.
True.
Right? And obviously the injustice that you experienced there and all of that. So which is going to lead me to my question now. You being on Emalahleni FM, doing the just
the legal ventilator.
It's that one. Is that you sort of giving back to a community in some sort, raising awareness in what's that whole chat about?
Definitely. So the legal ventilator is just to give people an opportunity to ventilate about issues that are relating to the law with an attorney and with a person that is experienced in that field. So it's something that you would ordinarily not have. I mean, last year we had issues with the Departments of Education. We had the Departments of Education on. We had the relevant attorney on. So we're always bringing on people that you wouldn't necessarily be able to have a one-on-one with or to engage them, and you get an opportunity to call and say, no, look, but this is what I'm experiencing, these are the difficulties that I'm experiencing, and then they can advise how best do we handle it. So it's just a platform to ventilate.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And when obviously can people tune in? I mean, because we're speaking about it right now, I believe it's on a Thursday.
Every Thursday at 6:30. on Emalahleni FM.
Yeah, they can definitely tune in and hear this.
Definitely tune in. Yeah. So even if when you've got questions, so people do send us questions or problems prior to the show, and we read the show, the problem, whatever, and then we decide notes specifically because somebody requested this type of topic. We're going to discuss it, and we go full length.
Absolutely. King, please do continue with your trailer.
Obviously, it's at that time of the season now. Bonuses came out.
La 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 la.
And you obviously have been having those questions. What has been the most prominent question now that you've been getting from your listeners?
Customary marriages. Ooh, what a phenomenon that thing is. So people are always asking me if I just paid lobola.
Let's contextualize what that is first.
Customary marriage.
For the people that obviously do not know what it is. Yeah. So
do you think your podcasters don't know? Your ringers.
Well, my ringers do understand the term, but I'm just saying if they're watching with a family member of sort that comes from the Makayas of sorts.
Oh, okay.
That might not understand the term of sorts. That don't understand the term of sorts might need to get a constant. What's that?
Consultation.
Yes.
No. So customary marriage is literally when your boyfriend comes over and pays lobola. Now, a lot of questions that I get is, my boyfriend came over, he paid lobola of 2,000 rand. Are we married? Simple answer, yes.
No, but that's not the full amount.
Yes. Oh, double HP case. Remember double HP case?
Uh-huh.
Remember, the family was saying, no, look, the full amount was not paid, and we didn't do the full ceremony. We didn't welcome her.
Yeah.
So these are the requirements of a valid customary marriage. Must be over the age of 18.
Okay.
Tick. Must consent to the marriage.
Tick.
Okay. Must pay a monetary value. Tick. It does not say
100.
how much
100.
the money needs to be.
100.
Look, if you paid it and there's a letter and there's photos that we took.
But what's your take?
Because
an
important thing, there must be a celebration. So singaika yithi 100 rand masuga celebrate, shoot, we are married, and we're married in community of property.
Ngempela.
I'm telling you, but the biggest, I am telling you, you are married.
I want to find out something.
Big news.
You're married, but
you find that I went and then I hold around and then someone is knocked up, right? And I go to their family and I say, I'm marrying the child and
no, then that's not marriage.
I also pay something towards.
Oh, you're married, my boy. You are married. So this is the pros. Let me actually diverge you. Let me ask this. So the difficulty with customary marriage. So when your spouse is still alive, it's very easy to prove that customary marriage. You've got your lobola letter, you divorced your spouse, you go to court, there's the photos, there's evidence. Once your spouse dies, your lobola letter, you can't submit it when you're handing in your estate late documents and say, no, here's my lobola letter, minana sashata. No, you must first go back to court, do an application to register a customary marriage, and cite the family of the deceased, 2 family members, and also cite Home Affairs to register your marriage. Then only can you come back and be the executor of the estates. Before that, it's a no for you.
You're not getting anything out of that.
No, because remember the law says you can register a customary marriage. So if you don't register a customary marriage and your spouse dies, look, if his family says asikfuni,
So what if we fly to Durban to have curry and fly back?
Blowing my mind.
What if we fly to Durban to eat curry and come back and we elope?
After the lobola.
We elope.
After the lobola.
No, there's no lobola. We elope.
We elope?
Yes.
There's no lobola.
We have curry. We have curry to
But there's no lobola.
Yes.
No, if there's no lobola, you're not married.
The bill.
If there's no lobola, remember the element says lobola. Your family, his family comes in together, joins, writes a letter,
Okay, just on that, we have a whole lot of child-led homes now. Child-headed homes, and we don't really have those. I mean, one of the trends where we don't really know what happens when someo's dead. Do we wash them? Do we what song do we sing? Who sits on the mattress? Which mattress do we choose? So when you have such situations,
Yeah.
so when you come to such situations, because these are young people who are in love or infatuated, which part of when you say family, you mean like me and Kanye, we just hang out and say, Dana, we are celebrating, we buy a bottle of Henny and take pictures.
Look, remember, there must be that lobola ceremony. So if you take 2 of your friends and then you come to my house and then there's an exchange and there's a lobola letter and there's an exchange of money and there's photos. Dun, 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 dun.
To your girlfriends, give it to your girlfriends. I mean, you're also a kid, so.
God, it's that easier to get married. Like, guys, me, I've been wanting to get married for my entire life. God, I can just pay $2,000 and bring her.
No, it's
who you marrying, Kanye?
Yeah.
Who you marrying?
My lady.
Okay.
Akabizwe ngegama.
Kiss secret, kiss pee.
My lady. But I want us to speak about, yes, it's very interesting. But now that, let's say hypothetically, then the parents then die. Yes, you are a child in the home. Your parents die. What is the process of obviously getting an estate from parents who died ages ago? Yeah.
Okay, so first step, we evaluate the estate. We look at whether the estate is under 250,000 or over 250,000.
What's the difference?
The estates, we look at the value, the assets.
Let's say
what are the
under
assets?
200,000.
Yeah. So if it's under 250,000, then you go to the magistrate court. They'll assist you there. You get a letter of authority. You list the assets. They appoint the executor. You and the heirs will share. Simple, done. No need for an L&D or any drama.
Okay.
Now, if the estate is over 250,000, that's where the drama comes in. You can't do it on your own.
Okay.
You have to hire an attorney.
Which is Ursula Ntuli's.
Ta-da! Because we've done so many. And obviously, it doesn't just stop there. So the first step is you hire an attorney.
Yeah.
That's step one. What a lot of people don't realize is how expensive it is to die. Make an example. So the attorney, their fees.
It's expensive to die.
It's very expensive to die. Look, it's not cheap to die, guys. Don't take it lightly. That's why you find a lot of houses going on auction, and because we don't actually take into consideration what it means to die. So I'm just going to simplify it. So what happened? Let's say you die. Estate is over 250,000.
Okay.
You come to see an attorney. Your attorney will do letter of executorship. They'll charge you an amount for that. That's fine, that's done. Once off fee, you come back with a letter of executorship. Once you come back with a letter of executorship, then there's additional fees. The attorney takes 3.5% of the gross estate. So whatever the gross estate, whether it's $1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, the attorney will take 3.5% of that, right? Then there's the master's fees. The master's fees are dependent on the value of the estate. So the bigger the estate, the bigger the master's fees.
Crazy.
And then you've got your first set of adverts, right? Which is to advertise that ABC has died. You do it at Government Gazette, at the Star, step one. That's also money. Then after that, you draft the liquidation and distribution accounts.
Okay.
And then after that, the estate goes again to life for inspection, public inspection. Then we do 2 more adverts.
Okay.
That's also money. And then after that, it gets. And then if there's a movable property, it means it needs to get transferred to the heirs. Then there's transfer cost. Transfer costs are not just transfer costs. When transferring a property, you know you
so
have.
how much do you take home? You mentioned.
Hey, that's why I'm saying it's honestly so important.
So I was about to ask her.
Yeah.
This whole number, just give us a ballpark figure of that process.
It's honestly dependent. It's honestly dependent on
the middle class.
Let's say the immovable property is R1 million. Transfer cost of there would be around 40-something thousand.
Absolutely.
And then of course there would be 3.5% of that, and then there would be the master's fees, and then there would be the 2 sets of adverts.
So how much are we looking at?
You're probably looking at you're probably for an estate of R1 million to round it off, you're probably looking at around 50 to 60. Somewhere there.
Really?
In the estimates, yeah. So I think what the difficulty or the biggest challenge is, the bigger your estate, the higher it costs you to die. So that's why I always advise my clients. So I always look at the assets that they have now and the life that they live. And then I always say, look, if there's minor children involved, let's take a life cover.
Yeah.
So we work a lot. Yeah, so we do a lot of work with
Clearly, it's insane.
Yeah.
That you guys do.
So we then go back to Old Mutual. So we do a lot of work with Old Mutual. We're currently in the process of sorting my documents out to sit on their panel. So we go back to them, and then we get
Jane Woodbank.
it's going to be in Mpumalanga to sit on the panel for Mpumalanga.
Okay.
So we then
What does that mean?
what does it mean?
Are you gonna call the shots?
No, I don't call the shots. It means
Maybe
that
she's
if they need a lawyer, they're gonna have to call me on the panel.
You know what DD is?
No.
Okay.
So basically, then we get you there. You take a life cover, right? And then we calculate. So if it's gonna cost you 200,000 to die at that point in time, we'll advise you to take a life cover of 400,000 because we have to take into account inflation and all those things.
Absolutely,
so you take a life cover. And then let's say your life covers 2 million. Then we say, look, 10, 20 or 30% must not have a beneficiary. If it doesn't have a beneficiary, it will automatically come to me in the estate. And in the estates, then obviously it will be accounted for.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a whole, that's why I'm saying it's
Crazy.
such an in-depth process when planning for your death. It's really hectic. So the life covers to make sure that in the event that I died, because obviously I run a business, let's say this month I don't make any money and I die. With all the assets, my son will stand a chance to lose some of the assets purely because at that point in time I did not have money. So the life cover then will kick in, pay all the liabilities.
So
and
it's
then
very important to
it's
have
very you
no?
can't have if you have minor children you have to it's
But
pivotal.
What these guys are doing now with going to a high-fed mall there, right? They get all these 21-year-olds that just recently started a job and then they get them to sign up a live cover. Do you think maybe that's the topic?
I mean, I think it depends because remember, if you've got dependents, if you die, do you want them to be taken?
A more mature sort of person, would you do that?
I think it always depends on the person. If you meet a 21-year-old, because remember, at 21-year-old, I was already someone's mother. You know, it was a requirement.
The maths to
So if at 21 I was someone's mother, it means I needed to take a life cover at that point in time because what was that child going to eat in the event that I die?
Yes.
So I think it's very important because you need to look at death in a more positive light. I mean, a lot of properties go on auction because simply the heirs did not have enough money, or you find a house, the person I saw one instance where the house was paid. The house was 900,000 when the person purchased it, and by the time the deceased died, the house only owed 100,000. And then the interest started to accumulate after their death, and then the heirs decided to ignore it. It accumulated, got to 250,000. When it got to 250,000, the bank had already done foreclosure, so they sold the house. Now imagine you've paid literally 70% of this house, and then at the last minute your heirs get stripped from that, because that's essentially what happened. Those heirs were taken. I mean, and it was quite sad because that was the children's only home. Sure. And that was taken.
So now
it goes because remember
after that.
Yeah.
Well, they had to go back to
they had to, I don't know, find some means or something.
What do you guys then do as a legal firm? Let's say now there's a family of sorts that stays in this house, beautiful house of sorts that cost a couple of millions, a couple of change. And let's say maybe that whole process wasn't done correctly. And then it leads to a situation where they have to lose a home. Do you guys then also play a part in that as well to say that, okay, cool, now that they've lost a home, what do we do with the family? As a legal sort of firm, do you guys go to an extent of assisting these now homeless children or dependents of sorts?
So with us, remember the law's got this beautiful thing called separation of powers. So
I didn't know that. I know that now.
There's this beautiful concept called separation of powers. So when you're going through an eviction, right, when a person is evicting you from your property or, getting closer to a foreclosure, remember they give you a lot of notice and a lot of time and ample opportunities. So foreclosure comes when they've tried everything and you're just not complacent. So in the events where you're getting evicted and you don't have an alternative accommodation, remember your rights to accommodation is granted to you by this date, not the private entity or the private owner or the new owner. So in the event that you are evicted, they are going to cite the municipality and they're going to cite legal aid to assist you. So you would have those people to assist you in finding alternative accommodation. So on our side, we don't have a duty, a legal duty to provide alternative accommodation. But I think even on the moral side of it, the only thing we can do is advise you to go to legal aid and find yourself within the municipality to get alternative accommodation like an RTP. But remember, if you've owned a property before, then you're not going to qualify. So you know, so it's such a tricky situation. That's why I always say, look, in as much as we plan for success, plan for birthdays, plan for anniversaries, plan for your death. Death is the most crucial part of you, because death is honestly the only time we see the fruits of your work. Because, you know, when I'm alive, I can pretend to live a certain lifestyle, be a certain person. But when I die, that's when you see the true identity and everything that I've worked for.
And a lot of people don't look at it that way.
No, we don't. We're like, it's not going to be cute. That's your home.
We're on 30.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What we're going to do, thank you so much for the update real quick. We're going to go for a second ad break. We've never done this before. We have 2 ad breaks. But because of how informative this episode is, you definitely need the second half. We'll be back shortly. So Manan, look here. Hold on. Bring this here. Welcome to Ursula Ntuli Attorney. So Manan, come on, I'm Kanye with the next and up with the name. This is us ring the podcast, the flyest one in the city. Potentially within the next year, we're trying to go for the country, but we'll see. We are still obviously chilling with one of the flyest law attorney founders and directors. Do we say you're a lawyer? Like, where do we put you? What category? How?
Oh, I'm an attorney by profession. So lawyer is an old term word for everyone in the legal practice, meaning students.
Am I safe at attorney?
Yeah, attorney
one of
safe.
The flyest attorneys here in Witbank, and apparently she's a slave queen too. But if you're only watching this, you definitely know what the first half was like. Don't obviously forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Do click that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we drop. And just so that you know, we drop every Thursday at 8 o'clock, yeah? So make sure you're tuning to Us Ring with Kanye, the podcast on YouTube. And what you obviously saw in our ad breaks now, just like how I said it in the beginning, I'll say it now again. Hoiga VR is the best tech company that you'll find in the province. They deal with surveillance, they deal with solar panels. So they literally the answer to your load shedding problem right now. Do give them a call, Hoiga VR. Penyo, Linsa, what's up?
You see?
But I did say people must subscribe. You're not listening. You are not listening.
Subscribe and click the notification bell.
Exactly. So you are notified every time your Us Ring drops. Ursula Ntuli. So we ran a poll on Instagram with topics that to be discussed, obviously, on our platform today, and one of the highest ones, sitting at obviously 46%, was trusts and wills. Do you feel like a lot of people have a certain level of interest around how trusts work? Maybe I should ask you, how does a trust and a will work? Let's start there.
Okay, so a trust, you can look at it like a company. So a trust is its own entity, it has its own persona. So a trust can acquire, dispose, and do everything as a company. The only difference is that is a trust. So a lot of people use trusts to protect their assets. So you could find that I, Ursula, own nothing, and my trust owns everything. And in the event that I would get liquidated or I would have issues with the law, you would liquidate me who has nothing, but then all my assets would be safely tucked in a trust.
Really? So that happens too?
Yeah, it happens a lot. I think a lot of people have trust, especially a lot of people who are running businesses who want to separate themselves from the trust. So a lot of people will have trust, and then their assets will have the trust, run the trust, and then they'll have themselves. And then themselves, they wouldn't do much. In the same way you would have a company. Yeah, a company would also...
Speaking of companies now, I actually have a question in my head right now. I'm a young 21-year-old, fly, have mad ideas. I decide to obviously open a company with my lady. And we go half and half, because obviously the country is on that BBC women, so you're gonna obviously give PE. What did I say?
BBC.
I saw that BBC. I was like,
oh my goodness, that is so embarrassing. But let's continue. So they're on the BEE. On the BEE tip.
Actually, now move to triple BBE, you know.
You're making it a lot easier.
Don't.
That's good. Thank you so much. Can't believe I said that. So now I've really lost my train of thought.
BBC?
Yes, BEE.
You and your woman, you've got a company.
Yes, me and
you
my
go
woman
50-50 because you want to get extra points for black female.
Yes, you see.
I see where this is going. Black female, youth, under 35. Yeah.
And then we break up. What do we do then? Yes, it's on the CKs. Yes, we're on the Shiny.
Remember, I think
she's half the director, but...
No, in the event that you guys break up, you do have the option to then terminate the company or liquidate the company and split the profits and the liabilities or the assets, or say buy me out of the company. Yeah, I mean, if you guys
there's a whole buy me out the company talk.
Yeah, you can say buy me out the company, and then if the other person agrees, you sign an agreement, they buy you out, you take what's yours and you leave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
I didn't think it was that, I wouldn't say easy, but I thought maybe it's a tough process.
No, not necessarily. No, it's not tough.
Okay.
I think the tough one is marriage in community of property.
That's the toughest one.
Yeah, that's your la.
So it's really that bad that people need to obviously be aware of what they're getting themselves into.
Definitely.
With regards to putting a ring on that finger, because it seems like
even like you see now in December, a lot of people will say, no, let's pay lobola, we'll do that, we'll register the marriage after, and then after your spouse is like, no, yes, I mean, before, this is actually, I always say this to people, before paying lobola, if you want an antenuptial contract, come do it before. Don't pay lobola and then come back to us after, and then the other spouse is like, and easy. Then it's late for you. That's why it's always very important when taking big decisions. You have to consult your attorney.
You have to consult your attorney. You to be like, yo, Ursula, look, I'm trying to get married right now. I've got this.
Am I doing it right, or am I exactly? Don't just rush into things because when you're in love, you know.
King, please do
so
talk to us.
Basically, you guys are just suggesting that we're gonna end in divorce.
Well, no, not necessarily, because remember, there's two things. If we get married in community of property, right? Me and you we're doing great, but you now come across issues where you're getting liquidated, right? What do we do then? Because you're getting liquidated. I'm not getting liquidated, but by virtue of our marriage, the debts that you have automatically become my debts. And now you find that the joint estate is now insolvent. Now we both can't get credit, so it's not wise. It means you have all your eggs in one basket. So it's not necessarily an issue of a happy ending, a down ending. It's got to do with the institution itself and looking after everyone involved, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where you have all your eggs in one basket and the basket is going down.
Yeah,
it's not smart. You know.
It's really not
So
smart.
basically, it suggests that so we meet and then we're in love. We need to have the talk then.
Definitely.
Like, listen.
I think when you're at your serious stage, those are things that are important, especially if you've got children outside of your marriage. You need to have that conversation. I'll make an example. We get married today, right? We both have children outside of the marriage. Tomorrow we get divorced, or I die. No, I die. If I die, my child is not going to inherit anything from that estate if the estate is 500,000, because the first 250,000 is going to you by virtue of the marriage. After you inherit your 250 share by virtue of the marriage, you are entitled to a child share portion. When you inherit the child share portion is 250,000 or whichever is the biggest amount. So if the estate is 500,000, my child gets nothing. If the estate is R1 million, you're going to get 75% of the estate. My child is getting the crumbs. So those are things that you're taking into account. It's not just a question of we're in love. It's a question, I think, that has to go as far as looking after the interests of your children, that if you should die, your children are not going to be taken care of, and that is by virtue of the law, because your spouse will inherit twice if there's no will. They'll inherit 50%, they'll inherit a child share portion.
Hectic.
Yeah.
Hectic. You continue with your question.
So
Very hectic.
Let's try, you know, this. I'm still on this thing of asset evaluation. Because of most of us, we have land, but the land is there in the boundaries. It was just land that my grandfather had, my great-grandfather had, and then it's just being passed on. It really never had value. So how do you give that a value, because of it never had a value?
I think maybe the first thing is it registered at the deeds office? Or is it registered?
I want a deed.
Go ahead.
It's just a they throw a stone, and where the stone ends. Yeah. So like, what happens in that case? Because of most of us being by virtue of melanin, we get ourselves caught in that situation where we now have things, but they don't have. I mean, like a stand in the middle of nowhere in some village, it doesn't really have value, and so does the house. It's just, do we look at the cost to build the house?
No, not necessarily. So in those circumstances, we'd have to get an evaluator. An evaluator would be the one that evaluates how much that house is, or that particular stand is in the bundu. So they would give a valuation.
The bundus are depreciating. They don't have value much.
But it still has a value. It's not R1. It's not R0. It still has a value. So they would give it a value. But they would, obviously, the value is now dependent on a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Where is it? Surrounding places. It's like if you go build a double-story apartment, right? You can't want to sell that house for 2 million, even if it's worth 2 million. By virtue of the location and the surrounding things around it, it can never reach a certain market, a certain price to sell it, or selling price, by virtue of location. So location is very key. You can't just come and erect a 4 million rand stand in the middle of nowhere and expect it to be worth 4 million rand. Not even the bank is going to finance that.
Let's talk about wills then. Because of now, my father said, my will.
Oh, Asamwala. It doesn't count.
Kusieleti 2 million.
Oh no, that doesn't count.
Because I've been hearing a lot of people that are challenging the wills and all those things. What happens then? Which is better then? Because I'm looking at testamentary trust there at the back. I'm looking at trust and wills. We're talking with Kanye now just offline that we don't really know much about the law.
No, we really don't. I'm clueless, man.
So the
Need
thing
to hang
is,
out with you a lot more.
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna read this.
Orientate you.
We're gonna read this quantums.
Yep. Don't tell her
So tell us about this will story and how does it hold power? Which holds power more, the trust, the will?
So the trust and the will are two different things. The trust is the trust is exactly like that. Look at it. When you look at trust, just think company. Just think company. When you look at trust, just think company. You'll be fine. It's like a company. So your will is what stipulates what needs to happen in your death. It will stipulate how you want to be buried, where you want to be buried, how your assets need to be disposed of. But remember, when it's saying how your assets need to be disposed of, it's not talking about the assets that are in the trust. It's only talking about the assets that are in your name. So when we're talking about the assets that are in the trust, they dissolve or they devolve according to the trust deed. So the trust deed stipulates how the trust works, who should be the beneficiaries, who are the trustees, when they get money, when they're entitled, when they're not. It's a whole shebang.
Like it's a whole
shebang. So I think the thing with trust, right? Not everyone should have a trust. I would say if you're running a business and you want to have your assets for your family safeguarded somewhere, have a trust. If you're working and you have a nice, normal job, comfortable job, and chances of you getting in trouble with finances, then really there's no need.
Is that how trust fund babies are birthed?
Because remember, I think, that's how you birth. So in your trust, so with my trust, I'll make an example. The beneficiary is...
You got a trust?
Yeah, of course I have a trust. Like,
You're gonna have a trust fund baby?
My child is a trust fund baby.
Oh.
I mean, my child is 12 and already owns a property.
Hey! That's too sweet.
How guys?
That's too sweet.
No, for his 12th birthday, I gifted him an apartment. That was
What are you gonna gift him for his 13th?
For his 21st?
For his 15th?
So this is my...
Sweet 16, Yona.
No, so I think that's my goal. So my goal is to get him a property every 2 years. For every 2 years. So like now, he's 30. He's gonna be 30 next year. I won't buy. He won't get a house. He'll get a normal gift. When he turns 14,
he'll get a car.
He'll get a normal house. No, when he turns 18, he's definitely gonna get a car. That's...
What car do you drive?
I drive a Mercedes AMG. I drive a BMW. I have a convertible.
Can I be your chauffeur?
Are you a speed freak?
Can I be your chauffeur?
Ngiphethe kahle nje endleleni
This
ngiyahlonipha.
needs to go off for a second.
Yes, please do ask the question. Then
Wow,
we come
man.
back to life.
Come on, ask the question. So we are married, and then we are paying commage of property, and then the assets bought before marriage. Obviously, now we are all accumulating them. We are all in this thing together. Where does paternal rights come in then? What are paternal rights?
Can I pose you? That question didn't come out right. I think.
What is paternal rights? Because it's here.
It's two questions. So maybe the first part, it's a question on its own. Paternal rights is a question on its own. So I don't know which one you wanna start
Okay,
with.
what is paternal rights?
Paternal rights is when you're in court and we're deciding where the child will stay. And the person is asking,
After we
is
divorce.
whether divorce or going through a separation, is the paternal thing where they say the child must follow the mother still on. Yeah. I don't know. You can start with
Okay,
either.
so we paid lobola, so we are customary marriage. The assets bought before the marriage now form part of us, and then we divorce.
So when you get divorced, all the assets belong to you guys, all the liabilities belong to you guys. So you share the assets and the liabilities.
So if you have a 10,000 rand debt at Truett, you're going 50-50, yeah?
Do we also accumulate the kids?
Accumulate the kids?
Yeah, do the kids form part of the assets?
No, how do the kids form part of the assets?
No, like if now I found you with 7 kids, I come with 1. And now I paid lobola for you. What does the court say in that case then?
Hey, you break.
In terms of what? In terms of what? Like when you're getting divorced?
Yes, in terms of the kids. Am I now their official father as well?
No, remember, if you want to be their official parent, you have to do a legal adoption. That's the only time they will have rights to claim in your estate. So if you're married to a person who's got children, if you die, the children can't claim from your estate. You need to have legally adopted them unless you left them something in the will. If you have done neither of that, then no.
Hectic.
How many black people do that?
I don't think a lot of people legally adopt.
I think even white people, I don't think a lot of people legally adopt unless you really, really want the child to make sure that. But if you don't want the child to suffer, you'll adopt the child. But in any event, you have the option of having a will and including that child in the will, which is a much simpler process. So I would go for that.
Sure. I wanted to speak on a more lighter scale now in relation to businesses. So obviously with you creating this business of your own, there was one poll question that you received that your audience rather wants us to speak of IP laws, trademarks, labor contracts for small businesses as well. What's your talk around that?
Okay, I think that one is obviously very dependent on what the actual business or what the facts are.
Let's say Usring, for instance.
And you're talking about patents and whatnot. So I think that's quite a diverse matter. What do you want to patent? Because remember, you cannot patent or say you own something if that thing is common or it's used commonly. For you to patent it, you have to register it first. So it would either be a trademark or a patent. So if you want to trademark something, you need to register it. I remember, I think there was that whole issue with Casper saying Philip belongs to him. And it was like, no, but Philip is a universal name. You never registered it as a patent or a trademark. So,
that's true.
Yeah, so it's very... If, of course, a name resonates with your character and with your brand, then it's easier to then register that as a trademark or as a patent.
Do you patent an idea then?
It's very hard to patent an idea. Honestly speaking,
under the sun, so
I think that's what I'm saying. It's very, very hard to say you can patent an idea, but you can. But it's obviously it's got its own requirements. It's a bit tricky.
So post COVID-19, everybody's trying to sort of come back to life, financially, circumstantially, and from a job perspective as well. And obviously, with a modern South African has a number of debts. And obviously, due to COVID-19, it had a huge impact in that too, with you repaying these debts, right? So breaching on payment terms for an average South African, what can a company do to take legal action against that person? Let's just raise awareness around that, because it's one of the questions that came out.
I think the important thing, if you are in credit and you're suffering, always tell the credit provider and make a substitute, because the credit provider wants their money at the end of the day. But if they're writing you letters and you're ignoring them, if they're calling you and you're ignoring them, they're going to take legal action. So they'll send you a letter of demand. There's no repercussions for that. You can ignore it. But they'll send you summons. Then if you don't defend the summons, they'll set a default judgment. After a default judgment, they'll get a warrant of execution. Warrant of execution is to attach. You've seen how the sheriff will come to your house and attach your bed, your car, whatever it is that you own personally. Ex-repo type style, yes. Then that's how the procedure would work. So I always say, if you've got credit and you're suffering or you're struggling, communicate. These people are not monsters. Credit providers, it's a schlep. No, remember, it's a schlep for them to take you to court, and it also costs a lot of money. So it's better if you communicate and then you say, look, my burden is heavy. I'd rather take my burden in this manner.
So what are the options that maybe can relieve such stress from a modern South African?
Your debt review and all your other things, I would say run far away. Manage your own things, because you don't want to be under debt review where you yourself now can't get credits and you're waiting and someone else is managing your credits. You don't want to do that. Speak. You have a mouth. So speak. The same way you acquired the credits is the same way you should be able to say, look, I'm suffering, I'm struggling. This is how much I can give, and be consistent and reliable, because another thing, people, they'll take a payment method which is slightly lower, but the interest is there, which means it will take you forever or lifelong to pay it. And then you're still defaulting. That obviously causes a lot of problems, so you never want to do that.
Repeat, please.
With the last 1 minute going into the festive season, what is the one thing that we didn't touch on that you want our guests to look out for?
Yes, good question. Good question.
A phenomenon in our field, if you're dating a person, whether a man or woman, and they have a pension fund, even if they are married and they have a will, if they were supporting you and they die, you do have a claim. So Makhapeni can come and claim from the pension fund. Even if in the pension fund you had allocated it to ABC, and Duma Kwapeni can come and say, there's my proof, begang support that.
Say right now.
Yeah, and then an illegitimate child as well, a child not from the marriage that is your child, can come and say, begang support that, here's the proof. Yeah, and they'll be entitled to
So those 7 kids can come and say,
if you were supporting them, yeah, of course.
But what if they're not biologically yours, though?
If you are supporting and they can prove and say every month pension and rumela 1.5, they can claim from the pension fund. Because remember, they are your dependents. They're financially dependent
So
on
this
you.
girlfriend allowance thing is just getting us into a trap then.
Which thing?
This girlfriend allowance thing, because it means that
Yeah.
this person can claim.
Yeah, she definitely can. She definitely can come claim. If there's a pension fund.
A girlfriend who gets girlfriend allowance every month can claim when you die.
Njengala with bank yabo abantu bethu asebenza mine banama pension funds. Definitely you can come claim.
I am shook.
Yeah,
You condone that?
there's a lot of things that I don't condone that are the law. For example, that phenomenon of a mandamin van spoilie, which protects a thief if they have possession. So if I take your car and I drive it for 6 months, and then you call me and say, Ursula, I want my car after 6 months, and I say no, Penyo, and then when you come and you forcefully take that car, I can go do an urgent application and the courts will give me back the car, irregardless of the fact that I'm not the owner of the car. All I have to prove is that I was in possession, peaceful and undisturbed possession of the property, and you unlawfully took the car back from me.
Let me ask one important question. What's your retainer?
That's my retainer. I think my retainer depends on who you are, what you do, and what are the services that you need. So obviously,
I'm a person that might need your service tomorrow or next year. Because I'm
look, remember, it's dependent. If you're running a very hectic business and you honestly need constant attention, it depends on who you are and what you need. So if you're a person who's very busy and you would always need constant legal matters, then you would sit on a retainer for 40,000-50,000 rand a month, and then that would mean that I would answer your call no matter where I am.
Well, speaking on retainers, darling, we have to let you go right now. Because obviously your day is jam-packed as well. You are a very busy woman after all. I think for me, what I can say now is okay, is it fine to close it off, King? Yeah. What I can say now, obviously, is thank you for allowing us to sit within your beautiful offices, speak about your beautiful journey that you have embarked on, get to understand who Ursula Ntuli is from a person besides the business that has accumulated all of your success. I'd like to obviously now take this opportunity to congratulate you. Let's start there. Congratulate you with this beautiful baby here. Of being the best law firm in the city for the year of 2021. I think also 2022 as well. A big congratulations on your accolades that you have achieved personally and within the business as well. This was a very informative interview, and I learned so much about the law industry as well. I did not know anything about what's that term? The mandate fund spoiler,
which protects the thief.
Yes. It protects the thief, guys. And if you didn't know that, you know that you're first. Can you tell me what are your departing words before I close?
Pain is temporary, but a law degree is forever.
I don't think you can do better than that.
This is what I was gonna say.
What were you gonna say?
I think if you're looking for her, you can find her at the entrance number 5 financial office.
Please.
About the mother and Mandela Street. That's what you say after that. You can't say pain what? Pain what?
Pain is temporary, but a law degree is forever. You're finding us here temporarily. From January, you're going to find us at number 45 Pluma Street at our new offices. That's where you will find us.
And where you will definitely find me is here in Asringe. Kamala Mukanya with the next shake game is forever the verdict. Don't get that locked up. And this was one of the most informative interviews we had on the podcast. The longest too, I must say. So I hope you're watching this right now. Do stay tuned for the next one. Kamalam, like I said, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Peño, for holding us down on the co-host. You know what I'm saying? And thank you to you, obviously, for tuning into this beautiful platform. Again, we'll see you next time. There we go.
Hi. This is great.
Finally, I'm sure you're like, nigga, split the musla.
I was actually enjoying it.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's dope.
She was talking about everything she's doing.
Well, she was talking about everything.